Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Stealing Pulp Fiction. And this is a new comedy coming your way from writer-director Danny Turkovitz, and this film focuses on the tale of Jonathan, Elizabeth, and Steve as they try to steal Quentin Tarantino's personal print of his film Pulp Fiction. And over the course of the 78 minutes, the very lean runtime that this comedy has, you can tell that this is made by big fans of Tarantino and trying to replicate the same kind of energy with these like sit down at a diner kind of conversations and stuff like that. None of this feels anywhere close to the quality, the depth, and just the pizzazz of actual Tarantino, but I could appreciate them trying to build those homages and connections. You have John Rudnitsky and Karen Sony, who are the two main friends here, who are trying to steal this print of Pulp Fiction, and it's hard to ever really buy into exactly why anybody is doing this and why any of this makes sense. But I don't think the film spends a whole bunch of time trying to justify that. It's the conceit. They're trying to steal Pulp Fiction. That's what this film is about. And obviously, this film turns out to be a lot more about these individuals, their friendship, their connections, and their own personal growth, which makes it feel a little unsatisfying when the whole entire conceit of this is stealing Pulp Fiction, and a lot of the time that kind of feels like an afterthought to all the other threads and dynamics and romantic subplots that are going on in this film to begin with. But, this film is watchable and also has a pretty brief runtime. It's a silly, goofy kind of film. You know the tone when you see Seeger Tennis's Quentin Tarantino, and he's this absolute caricature of Quentin Tarantino, and it's absolutely ridiculous and over the top. You know this film's not trying to be too serious, but it does expect you to be able to really connect and have these emotional payoffs to some of these journeys that each of these characters have, and the characters aren't likable or fleshed out enough for all of them to feel very satisfying. I think Sony's character, has the nicest arc here. I also think he brings the most charming performance. I think Rudnitsky's character is not the most interesting or engaging, and his motivations are a little bit more lack real substance to them and kind of flimsy. And you even have their therapist, Jason Alexander, who keeps popping up throughout this film and becomes much bigger in terms of the story in unexpected and probably not the most necessary kind of ways. I love Jason Alexander from Seinfeld and stuff like that, but kind of just felt like another tacked on element into this film that really didn't need to be there. But I don't think this is a particularly good film. But I think it's a lean, silly kind of hangout film that you can definitely tell that there is some passion there, trying to homage and pay tribute to Quentin Tarantino himself. But those are my thoughts on Stealing Pulp Fiction. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.